Yeah, so suffice it to say that I agree there's no objective morality, there's no objective knowledge of any sort.
Pyrrho displays an ability to obfuscate factual reality, to deny it yet simultaneously profess acumen in physics. I myself find this most perplexing. This ability to reduce categorical science to the level of mere hokum would do math fails proud. His unwillingness to ascribe factual reality extends to anything and everything. One can only suppose Pyrrho would argue the empiricism of gravity were he unfortunate enough to find himself the victim of a parachute accident. Forgive my rambling, but I do find Pyrrho's peripatetic diatribe somewhat infectious.
And I think that's a good description of why, because things do come down to opinion, even so-called facts like the car is red.
So-called facts like the car is red. An interesting philosophy, if not totally useless vis-a-vis consensus and technological progress. And of course Pyrrho weights his opinion above and beyond anyone else's. Of course he would do, he's hamstrung by a cluster B personality. Pyrrho moves quickly on to discuss murder and argues vociferously that murder cannot be deemed morally objectionable because objective morality does not exist. He doesn't once reference suffering. Even if he were to acknowledge it, he would surely simply reduce it to a mere curiosity. Something he would argue has no more objective reality than his red car previously alluded to. This dismissive, pusillanimous manner has, despite my attempts at professional detachment, left me viewing Pyrrho as nothing more than an anathema.
Showing how the ball is in your court, and then you whine about that and say, oh, you can't get a ball in my court. Yeah, it's going back and forth. I started it, you make a criticism, I criticize your criticism, you defend your criticism, and criticize my criticism of your criticism, and so forth. But you seem to get confused.
I had hoped to submit a very positive year-end report for Pyrrho. Unfortunately, as we've all witnessed, that cannot happen. At this time he seems to be bereft of all humility and unopen to the compromise we all accept makes up part of our non-verbal social contract. Hence Pyrrho will remain unfortunately stratified, adrift on his lonely life raft with only an angst-ridden subconscious for company. Indeed, Pyrrho's narcissism, Pyrrho's megalomania appear to have no bounds. This frantic compulsion, this non-negotiable insistence on monopolizing each and every cyberspace interaction is both disturbing and startling. If one listens to Pyrrho espousing his expert knowledge on any topic from A to Z, one might be forgiven for considering handing over unilateral control of the earth to this sage benefactor. It's a cliche, I know, but Pyrrho is a legend in his own mind. He sees in the mirror an unparalleled intellect, a man whose insightfulness eclipses that of his fellow man. And therein lies the problem. How can one draw attention to his maladies when the very nature of said malady is to spin any reference to it into nothing more than an unprovoked attack born of jealousy for said superior mind? I referenced earlier the self-sealing quality of the cluster B disorder and how it makes it impossible to penetrate without stabilising antipsychotic medication. Again, at the risk of repetition, his abuse of alcohol and possibly other mind-altering substances create a barrier that is effectively impenetrable. I fear at this time no approach from gentle cajoling through to scathing rebuttal of his despotic, conceited behaviour can hope to achieve results.